Welcome to the analysis of the six kingdoms of life. In this video, we will be analyzing the six kingdoms of life. The title is kind of self-explanatory. This video was written and narrated by me, Sam Taylor. First, we will be looking at the Archaebacteria kingdom. Archaebacteria live in some very extreme places. For example, the volcanic hot springs under the ocean. Some other places they live are in brine pools, black mud, and animal digestive tracts. Archaebacteria are one-celled prokaryotes. They go back as far as 3.5 million years ago. Archaebacteria are an important part of most extreme ecosystems in the world. Next, we will be looking at the Eubacteria kingdom. Unlike Archaebacteria, they have peptidoglycan and different membrane lipids. There are three ways they obtain their energy: through photosynthesis, eating organic matter, and making chemical reactions with inorganic matter. Eubacteria are important in ecosystems to decompose dead material as well as producing nitrogen for the plants. Eubacteria can also cause disease. They can cause these diseases by either damaging cells and tissues or by releasing toxins. Some of these diseases include tuberculosis, typhoid fever, chloria, and one I can't pronounce, it sounds like streptococcus. But only less than 1% of bacteria are actually harmful. Over 400 species of bacteria live on our bodies, doing things like helping digest food and occupying spaces that viruses could use. We also use bacteria in other uses like making artificial snow and soap and sweetening food. Now we will be looking at the Protista kingdom. Like bacteria, protists have DNA and cell membranes. But unlike bacteria, they have a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. The name Protista, which comes from the Greek word for the very first, is appropriate because protists were the first organisms ever on Earth, showing up around 1.5 billion years ago. Like bacteria, some protists are good and some are bad. Some of their diseases include malaria and giardia. Also, there are three kinds of protists. First, there are the plant-like protists, which obtain their food through photosynthesis. An example is a volvox. This type of protist is important in ecosystems because it usually is the base of the food chain. Next, there are fungus-like protists, which obtain their food by absorbing nutrients from decaying matter. An example is slime mold. This type of protist is important in ecosystems because it helps decompose for new growth. The last type is animal-like protists, which obtain their energy by eating other organisms. An example is the amoeba. This type of protist is important in ecosystems because they can help some other organisms by living symbiotically with them, and they break down organic matter. Moving on, we will be looking at the fungi kingdom. There are four types of fungi that you are probably familiar with. These are mushrooms, mold, spores, and imperfect fungi. All fungi are multicellular, except yeast. Way to be a hipster, yeast. They are all eukaryotes. Their cells differ from animal cells because, unlike animals, they have cell walls and don't have tissue. Fungi differ from plants mainly because they don't photosynthesize. Fungi spread through spores. The fungi kingdom is said to be 460 million years old, according to fossil record. Fungi can be harmful to humans by destroying crops, killing animals, and even directly infecting humans with a disease or infection. Fungi are important to ecosystems because they decompose dead material and help control populations. Lichens are a combination of plants and fungi. They are important because they help bring life to barren places. Mycorrhizae is when fungi partner help it absorb more minerals and water. Next up, we will be looking at the plantae kingdom. All plants are multicellular eukaryotes, have cell walls made of cellulose, develop from cellular embryos, and carry out photosynthesis. Plants are important to ecosystems because they help add a lot of diversity, as well as produce oxygen. The four categories of plants are ferns and relatives, mosses and relatives, cone-bearing plants, and flowering plants. Last, we will be looking at the Animalia kingdom. All animals are multicellular, are eukaryotic, lack cell walls, and are heterotrophs. However, plants differ from animals because they are not heterotrophs and have cell walls. Animals are similar to fungi because they are both heterotrophic. Animals are divided into two main groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. Some examples of vertebrates are dogs, cats, birds, tigers, and alligators. Some examples of invertebrates are spiders, worms, crabs, lobsters, and clams. Then there are viruses. Viruses are not considered alive due to the fact that they crystallize. Viruses replicate themselves by attacking a skin cell, reprogramming its DNA to make more viruses, then repeating this over and over. This is the conclusion to the analysis of the 6 kingdoms of life. As you can see, we went over 6 different kingdoms of life and analyzed them. Kind of self-explanatory. Okay, this is the end. That means the videos are over. You can leave now. Okay, maybe you're just enjoying